Breakups are often the symptom of problems in a relationship. My workbook series, The Knowledge, is focused on helping you change your life in 4 key areas: retaining the information that I teach, personal growth, improving your relationships, and of course, re-attracting your ex. Available now at AskCraig.net. Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And today we're going to be talking about, is your ex too stubborn to admit they want you back? This is a huge issue when it comes to breakups because so many of you guys that I talk to every week feel like your ex is just too stubborn to reach out and to want you back, right?
Right.
You see this all the time too, right?
Yes, and that's why we're revisiting this subject.
I think we could probably make 20 videos on this.
I think we probably could.
But we're going to explore this today because we know how difficult it can be to be in your position and you feel like you're putting yourself in a position of failure, right? Where you're feeling like if that person isn't going to reach out, then my position doing this is a waste of my time. Because I'm just going to be waiting here forever. I'll never hear from them again. Well, I don't agree with that.
Nope.
I don't believe that that is what happens with people. Because even if your ex is quote-unquote stubborn, that desire to be with a loved one, I think, is more powerful than your ability to stay stuck and being stubborn about something.
I agree. And when I have explored this with people, they really don't know quite what to say. Would this person ruin their whole life just to be right or not to give in to you? Well, yes, they're very stubborn. Okay.
Well, attachment is incredibly powerful. And it's not even something that we can cognitively control.
No.
Okay? You think your ex can control if they miss you? No, of course not. They can't control that. And when they made the decision to end the relationship, they probably feel like they weren't going to miss you. Because at that time, they weren't missing you and they were hoping to end the relationship. But to think that they're going to stay stuck in that same position, in that same feeling, whether it's anger or frustration or whatever it is, for the rest of their life, come on.
I've even asked people, would you want to be with someone who makes decisions like that for the rest of your life?
And that's a great question.
And I've gotten a couple of, I never thought of it that way.
How could you be in a relationship with somebody who's going to be
with this person who's
stubborn?
So stubborn? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Other than the just satisfaction of just getting them back and then what, being miserable every single day?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, you want to go out to dinner? No. I don't want dinner.
That sounds like fun.
Or, hey, you want to go ice skating? No, I'm not going ice skating.
Right.
Why? It would be fun. No, I don't like ice. I don't like skating. I don't even like ice in my soda, so forget it.
Was your partner stubborn before you broke up? Oh, no. Okay. So we have been wondering about this. Let's start with the decision-making process. I like that.
Okay.
Let's start there. I want to break up with you, Craig. How am I going to think about this?
Well, if you want to break up with me, you're going to be in this feeling and this mindset of, I've got to accomplish this task. I'm unhappy, things aren't working out, I'm frustrated. Obviously, there are a million different reasons as to why you would break up, but you're just feeling like this is what you have to do.
But at least today, it seems like my unhappiness is all about you.
Yep, so you would decide.
So if I want to be happy again, I better break up with you.
That's right. You feel like that's the only decision.
But you are awfully cute, so how am I going to do that? I'm going to have to turn off my feelings for him if I'm going to break up with him. So let's see. How would I do that? Zap.
Yep.
Okay?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So now I don't have any feelings left for you anymore, and I want to break up with you because I'm unhappy, and I've decided it's your fault.
That's right.
Okay? So I've done it, I've said it, so get out of my house.
That's right. What happens with your exes is when they make their decision to end things, if you try and beg and plead and manipulate or whatever it is you do, the grand gesture, it's not going to change their mind.
No.
It really isn't.
Nothing
because
is at that point.
They have made their mind up and they're going to go through with it. And I was doing some research this past week, and I just shared with Margaret the article I was looking at.
Very interesting.
That talked about how when your brain is doing a task, a stressful analytic task, your ability to be empathetic shuts off.
At that moment,
At that moment.
Yeah.
So, think about that. If that theory is true, and I have to make the stressful decision of ending the relationship, and it's hard, I don't want to do it, or maybe I do want to do it, but I partially don't. It's a struggle, right? It's not an easy thing to do. So they decide to end the relationship, and you come along trying to share your perspective, they have to push it out of the way to complete the task at hand.
No, I don't care how cute you are. Just get out of my house.
I'm ending the relationship. I'm sorry. This is what I have to do. Now, if they've made that decision and they feel like you have let them make their decision, they had the freedom and the autonomy to make it without you manipulating, controlling, begging, pleading, all that stuff. Now, they're like, task completed.
Right. And they feel relief.
They feel relief, and now they're going to get to a point where the relief eventually goes away, and they'll start to think about you. They'll start to miss you.
That's right.
And the empathetic side of them can come back again.
Right, because they've had to turn it off just to do what they felt they had to do. Yeah, that's an interesting point. I like that. Yeah. But that's why we recommend no contact, because over time, that wears off. And you begin to say, well, on Saturdays we usually did this, and on Sundays we usually did this.
That's right.
Yeah, and we always talked, 11 at night before we went to sleep, and wow, I'm beginning to notice all these holes in my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to understand stubbornness, okay? And many of you guys just think of it as this negative, trait of, I think my ex is so stubborn, they don't. No matter how much they miss me, no matter how much they care, they're never going to reach out.
Well, then they also have to be a little crazy, because that's a dumb decision, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, I did a little research on stubbornness, and it's defined as showing dogged determination not to change your attitude or position on something, especially in spite of good arguments or reasons to do so. So you give your partner all kinds of logical reasons why they shouldn't break up with you, and it goes on in one ear and out the other, all right? Because they've turned off their empathy that minute.
That's right.
Okay, so if stubborn is so bad, what's the opposite of stubborn?
Agreeable.
Agreeable, flexible, reasonable, easy to deal with, and going along with me.
That sounds like much better qualities for me.
Yes, it does, with me too.
Although there is some good
Yes, there is.
reasons to be stubborn. We're going to
Yes.
talk about that, right?
Right now.
Yeah.
And remember how I always talk about there being two huge human needs. One is togetherness and attachment and love and all that good stuff. And the other one is autonomy.
That's
having
right.
the ability to make your own decisions. And many times when people are stubborn, it's because they're safeguarding their autonomy. And if someone feels like if getting back into a relationship is going to interfere with their autonomy, then they may genuinely become stubborn in thinking about getting back with you.
That's right.
And that's very well worth thinking about, because oftentimes both men and women can be controlling in relationships and be totally oblivious about it.
Yeah.
Okay? That happens quite often. So if you're thinking about a stubborn spouse or relationship who doesn't want to reach out to you again, think about, are they safeguarding their autonomy in some way?
That's a really important
Yes, it is.
point you just made.
Yeah,
They're safeguarding their autonomy.
right.
And that kind of goes along with the theory that I mentioned up front
Yes.
about you have to do the task,
Yep.
and then when it's done, it allows you the ability to be more empathetic and flexible again.
But you had to have the freedom to do the task.
So your ex looks especially frustrating and stubborn when you're in constant reaching out and harassing them,
Yeah.
bombarding them with messages, you're stalking them, you won't leave them alone, and so they're going to stay stuck and stubborn as it may look to appear to you.
Yes, because they're going to get more and more adamant about defending their ability to and their right to make that decision. I mean, if you're not married to somebody, they have a right to make any decision they want.
Yeah.
You would expect a little more responsibility if you're married, but that doesn't always happen either. But anybody has a right to break up with us. We can't force anybody to be in a relationship.
No.
But I'm a little startled, I guess, by the quickness of people's responses. My partner is so stubborn. And I try to explore that a little bit with them. And if they're that stubborn, help me understand again why you want to be with them long term. How did you do in negotiating agreements? You know, how well did you work together? Oh, it was all great. Then why do you say he or she is so stubborn? So.
And, you know, what you got to remember is that how they feel when they made the decision is not necessarily going to be how they feel a few months later or as some time passes.
Yeah.
So you got to allow them the ability to make their decision. And believe me, you guys are going through a hard time, and I get that, and you truly believe that they are so stubborn because at that moment they were being very entrenched in their decision.
I don't care what you have to say.
Exactly.
I'm doing
You're
this.
not going to change
Bye.
my mind.
Right.
This is done. We're over, okay? But if you give them time and they've had their moment being stuck in that position and what they wanted, they got what they wanted, they'll start to miss you.
Yes.
Okay? But you've got to allow them the space and the freedom to do that as they need, not as you need, okay? A lot of times you have to put your needs aside during a breakup and trying to reattract an ex.
And giving your ex the space they need. Yeah.
And a lot of times they're not going to knock on your door with a bouquet of roses and say, I was wrong, you were right, I miss you, I want you back. They're going to do the indirect direct approach because they don't want to be rejected.
Right.
They know they hurt you. They know that you're upset. They know there's been a lot of drama and issues.
Yeah.
So they are not going to be so, upfront about, I miss you, I want you back. No, they'll be indirect. They'll message you about something silly where you're like, wait, what? Why would you message me about this?
And we call that the indirect direct approach.
Because they're directly contacting you. They make some kind of direct effort, some kind of message or a phone call or something like that, but they're not being direct about what they want. They're indirect by saying, well, maybe you could, help me find my poster. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Excuse.
I can't find my keys. Did I leave anchovies in the back of the refrigerator? Stuff like that.
Yeah. But during, the period of no contact where you're not reaching out, you got to work on yourself and you got to educate yourself and you got to work on being a better partner and make personal growth your priority. If you sit there obsessing over what they're doing, you're not going to grow. You're not going to change.
I'm ready for that question.
What question is that?
What can you do while you're waiting?
What can you do when you're waiting?
It's always useful if you're upset with a trait in somebody else. It's always a good idea to check yourself out for that trait. So you might want to ask yourself, how stubborn am I? You might ask, unless you're too stubborn to do it.
That's a good question.
How stubborn am I? You might ask.
How stubborn am I?
In other words, do they get stubborn in response to my being stubborn? In that case, we wouldn't get along well for more than 20 minutes. Do I really listen to other people's point of view? Not when I'm in the process of a breakup, no. But normally maybe I do. Have I gotten to know my partner well enough to know what he or she cannot tolerate? In other words, what has happened in the relationship that made them feel so strongly that they had to break up with me?
Yes.
Yeah. Have I learned to use positive or negative feedback to better know myself? Maybe my partner has been telling me for years I'm stubborn. And do I ever get stubborn just to prove a point or to make them sweat? Never.
You may have done all of these things in the relationship, and it's time to reflect and really think about those questions, because if you don't, you're going to wind up in either getting back with this person and the relationship falling apart, or doing these same patterns with other people.
Now, I found out after living in this world for a very long time, and Craig always likes to remind me just how long, since back in the days of hammer and chisel, that a very handy phrase to know and be able to say is, you were right and I was wrong. Nothing awful happens. And your partner is so impressed with you at that point, you even get goodies. Okay?
That ego is so fragile, though.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't say it. I can't say it.
It's perfectly okay to be wrong. We all make mistakes. It's okay. It's worth it. Trust me.
Even though your ex may have been stubborn with you at the time of the breakup and shortly afterwards, it doesn't mean that their feelings are going to stay the same after the breakup. They are likely going to change. They're likely going to get to the point where they miss you and they think about you. But you got to allow them to do that. So, when you want to get our help personally, just go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I do email coaching and I do Skype. Margaret is also available for Skype coaching.
And many of you have signed up, and I'm delighted about that. Please continue.
Just click on Margaret on the top of the website. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for the notifications. That way you know when a new video comes out. But that's it for this video. I'm Coach Craig Kenneth.
I'm Coach Margaret.
And we will talk with you soon. I'm Craig Kenneth, a relationship coach and a psychotherapist. Every relationship is different, and every breakup is different. Work with me, and you'll get professional help on your situation. Just click on the link in the description below, or go to my website, askcraig.net.